I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room and they think it's a shower, but it's gas. And they said, right.
I made a point about how important it is for you all to tell the truth, and not just to be first. I believe it's more important to make progress in our own homes, because by the time the system is put into place, the damage has already been done, and there aren't enough 7-year-olds locked away. I said something like, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room, and you. And I think it's a shower, but it's gas. Recent remarks made by Denzel Washington regarding the treatment of African Americans in Hollywood have sparked a contentious discussion. However, what's remarkable about Denzel is that, despite facing discrimination from influential Hollywood figures, he is one of the few actors who doesn't adopt a victim mentality. Denzel refuses to let it be an excuse to give up. Rather, he is committed to exposing the inner workings of the entertainment industry and the ways in which contracts govern the careers of Black ENT performers. Handlers in studios having your name associated with a prestigious award like an Oscar or Grammy is often considered a dream come true. However, it appears that some industry legends are now expressing concerns about the process of achieving that level of recognition. These concerns aren't baseless complaints from bitter individuals. Rather, they're coming from some of the most prominent figures in Hollywood. One such figure is Denzel Washington, a Hollywood heavyweight known for his outstanding acting and numerous awards. One of the most important lessons in life that you should know is to have an attitude of gratitude and humility, understanding where the gift comes from. When it comes to his personal and professional life, Denzel exemplifies true gentlemanly traits that we may admire in most other celebrities. This is especially true in an era where many celebrities are pushing open relationships and adultery as acceptable. I wouldn't be alive without Paula Tara Washington. She taught me about faith, spirituality, real love, and unwavering love despite my imperfections. Denzel and his wife Peta set a remarkable example by managing to maintain a stable and scandal-free marriage in Hollywood for 40 years. She is the most important person in my life. I wouldn't be music, alive before Denzel entered the world of acting. He actually thought about becoming a preacher, but looking back, he felt he wasn't quite prepared for that calling at the time, so he chose to let his acting and the way he lives his life do the talking instead. However, maintaining your integrity in Hollywood is not an easy feat, and Denzel quickly realized that the entertainment industry has a very dark side. Back in 2014, Denzel found himself right in the middle of the Sony email hack debacle when an unidentified hacker exposed some shady workings from Sony Pictures Entertainment. In one of these leaked email chats between a mystery producer and Sony chairman Michael Linton, which happened right after Sony released Denzel's movie The Equalizer, the producer suggested that Sony should avoid casting Black actors to connect better with a global audience. This producer argued that the movie could have made even more money overseas if they'd gone with a white lead actor instead of Denzel. Pictures with an African-American lead don't perform well abroad, according to the producer, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. I think that the global film audience is generally racist. It didn't take Denzel long to realize that there was a plot to exploit Black suffering for entertainment purposes once he moved to Hollywood. However, Denzel wasn't having any of it and refused to accept those kinds of roles. In fact, he gained notoriety by telling a producer something that still has resonance today. If the circumstances were reversed and your people were the punchline, no one would find it funny. They tried to hang him and do all this stuff, and I felt like I was in train day. There were some Jewish people in the audition, and I said yes. They said no. It's funny that it's like they hang them, and then they can't. I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people, oh, and they were correct. I corrected them, saying that it wasn't humorous. Therefore, I didn't find it amusing to tie a rope around my MF in on the Hollywood Reporter's Oscar Directors Round Table, where he was asked what his worst job was before he started acting. Denzel quickly dismissed this idea that being an actor is a more noble or meaningful profession than any other regular job. They weren't bad jobs. It's like that you people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie, unlike send your son to Iraq. Denzel has also been vocal about what he perceives to be delusional arrogance among some in the industry. He claims the emphasis on making movies and winning Oscars should be put in perspective because it's not as challenging as, say, sending someone off to war. That's challenging. It is merely a film. You know your son was shot in the face. So that's tough, so calm down and stop playing that precious foolishness. It's a luxury, a gift, an opportunity, and most of all, a gift that everyone here is plainly talented enough to do. But don't get it confused. Making a movie is just that, a movie. Despite his notoriety and all of his achievements, it's not really that big of an issue. Denzel continues to reject the moniker movie star, stating in an interview that titles have nothing to do with me. That's not who I am. What does the word movie star actually mean? It is merely a designation they bestow upon you till they swap it out for a new one. I make no claims either. Denzel has also been very critical of the way the entertainment industry became too focused on pushing political agendas during award shows, and its tendency to come across as elitist. But despite the pressure to conform and fit in with the Hollywood crowd, Denzel appears to have maintained a grounded and practical approach to his career, which has allowed him to escape some of the problems faced by other actors. That's not to say he hasn't faced challenges, but he has managed to keep a level head throughout his journey while also voicing his opinion on how Black entertainers are controlled. Meanwhile, Denzel also made it crystal clear that he wasn't about playing the victim card. Even though some parts of the media tried to push him in that direction, he never bought into it. He firmly believes that just because the system has its biases and inequalities, it doesn't mean you should throw in the towel. Denzel held a pretty strong stance on this. He thought it was crucial to keep pushing forward despite the odds. He was all about working hard, giving it your all, and not letting obstacles determine your course. And he utilized the difficulties as inspiration to demonstrate that he could succeed without surrendering his soul and on his own terms. Denzel's strategy was refreshingly different in that it demonstrated that you can take control of your own destiny and strive for success, even in the face of a system that may not always work in your favor. However, Denzel has also come under fire for his opinions. In 2017, for example, he faced backlash after he suggested that the prison system wasn't primarily to blame for the high rates of crime in the Black community. Instead, he highlighted the value of strong, healthy family relationships. In my opinion, it's more crucial to make progress at home because by the time the system kicks in, the damage has already been done. They are not locking up 7-year-olds additionally. Denzel talked candidly about his own background and praised his parents for being his role models despite their divorce. Denzel mentioned that his father remained a constant in his life and an inspiration to him. You might be wondering how all of this ties together. Denzel's point was that even though you acknowledge that the system isn't always fair and square, it shouldn't be an excuse to do whatever Hollywood bosses ask you to do. I was the only one of the 3 who had a father in my life. My parents were together, but I still had a father who was a gentleman and a good example, and they didn't lock any of us up at 7. Yes, we were all doing enough to get locked up at 13, but they didn't have anybody to help them, and they continued doing what they were doing. Denzel was a big believer in accepting responsibility and leveraging your circumstances as a driving force. He understood that real power came from acting, creating